Hello, it's Miss Smith here again, and we're ready to start our third lesson of RE. Today's learning question is, what are the main events in the salvation story? Some of you may know of the salvation story already, and some of you may not, and that is absolutely fine. But before we move on to that, I'd just like to have a quick recap and have a think about what we've learnt so far this term and last term. So the religion that we're looking at is Christianity, and I'd just like you to have a think about, what does it mean to be a Christian? Now, this is a question that we answered a couple of lessons ago, and I just want you to see if you could answer it again, and just see if maybe your answers have changed or got or developed your answers any further. So pause me here whilst you have a think. What does it mean to be a Christian? Okay then, so hopefully you've got some more ideas now than you did when you first answered this question. You might have started to speak about why the cross is important, okay, and started to talk about symbols in which Christians think are important. You might have also started to refer to some stories from the Bible that we've learnt about, such as Jesus being crucified and Good Friday. These might have been used to support your answers, or you might have just chosen something completely different, okay, but it still might represent what it means to be a Christian. My hope is that throughout RE, as we continue to learn this, our answer to this question will become more detailed, it will become longer, and we'll be able to use more of our learning to support our answers as well. Okay then, so today we are looking at the salvation story. First of all, I would like you to consider how a Christian would answer this question. I want to make this very clear. I am not asking how you would answer this question. I would like you to think about how a Christian would answer this question. And the question is, are people basically good or bad? Are people good or bad? So as a Christian, pause me here and think about, how would they answer this question? Okay then, your answers could have been yes. Maybe a Christian would agree with this. Maybe they think that all people are bad. Maybe that on the other hand, they think all people are good. Or you might have thought of somewhere in between. What I would hope that you would have done is to consider how a Christian is and how they are encouraged to behave and treat others, and then have a think about how they may have answered that question. Building on this question, so we're going to answer this question again. So are people basically good or bad? But I'm going to share with you some Bible verses that I would like you to use to support your answer. So here are our two Bible verses. So first of all, we've got something from Genesis, and it says that God created the great sea monsters and every living creature that moves, of every kind, with which the waters swarm, and every winged bird of every kind. And God saw that it was good. In a different section of the Bible, it says, and this is just a very small section of this verse, it says, since all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. I'm sure that you would agree that these two Bible verses are quite different to one another, okay? And maybe pause me here and have a think about the Genesis verse. Would you say that is a positive Bible verse, or perhaps a negative verse about people in the world? Then have a think about the same for the Roman verse. So is it a positive or a negative view on the world? Now that you've read these two verses and you've had a think about what they may mean, I would like you to try and answer this question again. So consider how a Christian would answer this question. Are people basically, are they good or are they bad? Pause me here whilst you think of your answer. Now, having looked at these two verses, and these are only two examples from the whole Bible, there are many other verses that you could have looked at to support your answer. I'd hope that you looked and thought that perhaps it's a bit of a mixture of the two. Christians believe that some could be good because it says here that God saw that it was good. But then on the other hand, you might also admit that actually Christians can sin, and could possibly be bad. And it says, since all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. So it's a bit of a mixture. I'd like you to have a think about what Christians would do to move forward from this then. They wouldn't just expect everybody to make a bad choice and stay bad forever. What would a Christian do to help them regain their space on the right path? How would they make sure that they're back on the right track to spend eternity with God? Hopefully you're remembering that lesson when we were speaking about Jesus's crucifixion and about how forgiveness was the key for Christians moving forward towards God and to overcome their sin. And it's to forgive themselves and to forgive others for their mistakes and their trespasses. On the school website, next to where you found this video of me, there were also links to 2 different sheets. Now, one of those sheets was called Lesson 3 Sentences, and it looks like this. And the other sheet was called Lesson 3 Pictures, and it looks like this. These have been snipped. Okay, so I've snipped this, and this is on our smartboard for today, just so I can see both of it. We have got 5 pictures, and we have got 5 different parts of the salvation story. What I would like you to do is, if you have a printer at home, I'd like you to print these sheets, and I would like you to match the paragraph with the picture. If for whatever reason you're unable to print this, don't worry, you can maybe number each section and match the numbers. I would like you to match the pictures to the section of the salvation story, and then I would like you to try and put the salvation story in order, okay? Once you've got it in order, I would like you to read it out loud, perhaps to an adult or a sibling if they're available, just checking it makes sense, okay? And this is the salvation story. Pause me here whilst you have a go, and then press play when you're ready to move on. All right then, so hopefully you've had a go at matching those pictures to the parts of the salvation story, and hopefully you've also got the salvation story written in order now, and you've had a go at reciting that story. This is the end of our RE lesson. However, we do just need to go back to our learning question and our learning answer. Our learning question says, what are the main events in the salvation story? Now that was, what are the main things in the salvation story? That happened? What I would like you to do is, perhaps on a piece of paper or in a book, if you've got an exercise book, is I would like you to write a summary of the salvation story. I would like you to retell the story to me, but in your own words. I don't want you to copy from the worksheet that you've been given. I want you to write it in a way that is meaningful to you and a way in which that you'll remember it for future lessons. Okay then guys, I will speak to you for our next RE lesson. Bye.